Obviously, the European thing was a focus on that. But when we had our strongest team, no one was touching us. The form of October, November, December, January, parts of January. But then, when we didn't play our strongest team, we didn't handle it as well as we could have. But then there are valid reasons there. There's no excuses. There are valid reasons. But we're certainly good enough. A lot of critics have said, yeah, he took chances in the league and the cup. I never took any chances in the league. I never played a team that wasn't the strongest of the players available after January. I always try to play my best team in the league. When you're losing players, I can cope with that. I always find a way. I make sure the team's prepared properly. But you don't know how the players playing, handling it at big games. They don't have Schmeichel, Pallister, Giggs or Keane. Because basically, they haven't been through that kind of experiences, most of them. So in this situation, they're only 22, 23. They're not in a position to help anyone else. They're still trying to help themselves. They're still learning. So that was a big test for them, really. And that will help them. That will be a great advantage to us, I'm sure. I think the luck in terms of the league itself was down in the Arsenal game. I have to make 2 substitutions in 30 seconds, both defenders. First, Phil Neville, I took him off. He was doing great against Overmars. Never gave him a kick. And then I had to take Ronnie Johnson off. A corner kick. Their corner kick, which is, you never make substitutions when the opponents have a corner kick. But he seemed to say he was dying, real injured, and I had to come off. By the time we got ourselves adjusted, we were 1-0 down. The ball came out from a corner kick, played back in. Gary went for a header, lost it. David May went for a header, lost it. And Overmars is clear, scored. You should not play a midweek game in between a European tie, point 1. And you should be playing Friday nights or Saturday morning, possibly you get off with that, Saturday morning before a European tie to give you a chance to prepare. But Friday night would be better. All the French teams playing Friday nights. And they keep giving us major games before European ties. Well, twice this season and last season to play Liverpool before European ties, which is absolutely disgraceful. No, I'm not happy at all. No, I've been disappointed in the last 2 years. But that's not a bad thing, because you can't have a system where it's continually churning them out, because they then have nowhere to go. The system chokes. So in a way that the last 2 years has allowed us to clear the decks a bit. But we've got 1 or 2 still, Wes Brown, John Curtis. I'm positive they'll be top United players. Young Clegg has come through and done well. My first season at United, I came in November, and so there to the end of the season you're assessing and watching games and various. The Sunday People had me signing on 128 players. It was quite amazing. And from the time I came to that summer, in the space of 5-6 months, and they used to run this almost every Sunday, and I think the editor must have been in love with Kenny Sampson, but he kept running this story about me signing Kenny Sampson, and we not give in on it every week. Negotiations are almost complete. The players travelling up, or I've met him, and I was never interested in Kenny Sampson. If you're looking at players that you say to yourself you wish you had, then you'd have to say Ronaldo. And we had a chance to take him, you know. But obviously his wages made it prohibitive, being a PLC. But he's the one player that can win the World Cup on his own. No, there's 2 or 3, you know, you had the chance to sign Barnes, and never took it, for instance. And we went for Gascoigne, we went for Shearer, but they turned us down, you know. So you never know, particularly Gascoigne, how it would have turned out for him. Come to Manchester instead of London. It may have been the best thing ever happened to him. Some phenomenal games over the years. We did a great 3-3 game against Liverpool once. We were 10 men, come back from 3-1 down in the second half. Brought Nolan Whiteside on as you know, he'd just come back from a knee injury, you know, and I put him on the bench, and I came on and devastated the stadium. The 2 or 3 tackles, you know, were X-certificate.
I remember sort of going into a challenge with John Barnes, and his throat accidentally caught my elbow. So we sorted him out early doors, and then Steve McMahon went into a challenge and managed to win the ball as well as make contact with his bottom of his leg. And he sort of calmed down then, and we went on to draw the game 3 each.
But I just concentrate. I'm just concentrating the game. I'm oblivious to what's around me. And people say that, yeah, I'm doing serious because they don't see me laugh and joke during a game, but my memory is in there. My concentration is because I have to memorise everything. I don't take notes down like a lot of managers. I have to make sure I memorise things and account in that. I rely on that.
How many packs of chewing gum are you going through now a game?
1. Just about 1. Maybe 1, maybe 1.5. Depending on the speed of the game. Well, the European Cup has got to be an ambition. This club should be involved in the major Europeans all the time.
August the 12th it starts this year.
I know. Bloody hell. It's a big problem for us because with the players playing the World Cup, it means they don't get any holiday.
How did you address that then?
Well, it's a penalty for not being winners. They'll not want to be second next year.